What's going on, guys? Austin here, and in this video, we are going to be taking a look at the extra points week 8 5-minute fantasy hits and misses. Now, this is one of the worst weeks that I can remember having. It's upsetting. But we're going to start off where we always do with our hits on the booms. We went 4-1 on quarterbacks for booms. That was great. A couple real sleepers, Donta Foreman and Latavius Murray, as well as Tony Pollard, who ended up seriously showing out against the Bears in the absence of Ezekiel Elliott. Adam Thielen and Brandon Cooks were the only wide receivers that I got right on the boom side, which, I mean, they were okay. They had good games, but not great games. Tyler Conklin ended up being the number 1 tight end this week, which ended up making me happy. I just wish I would have gotten a few more of his running mates correct. And then the Broncos in London against the Jags had a great defensive performance. Now, my misses on the boom were equally as large, which upset me. Now, Aaron Rodgers, I thought he would do better than 15 points. He had a better football game than he had a fantasy game. Benjamin and Raheem Mostert, those were just pure misses. I mean, both of those teams had, plenty of opportunity to get their running backs involved. They just didn't do it as well. Alec Pierce, Hunter Renfrow, Josh Reynolds, I just completely missed on the assignment in the games that they were going to be having. The tight ends on this side really made me upset. Hunter Henry, Will Dissly, and Irv Smith. I got all those wrong. The matchups were there. It just didn't end up materializing. And then the Colts, Jags, and Rams defenses all let me down. I definitely expected more from the Colts and the Jags. The Rams was more of a pipe dream, but still, it just didn't end up happening. Now, players who I thought were going to do poorly and did. One of my absolute favorite busts this week was Derek Carr. I called it. The Saints did not have a great defense, but what they did have was a defense that was getting healthier, and they had an extra 3 days because they just played on Thursday Night Football, and they absolutely destroyed Derek Carr. Tom Brady, I mean, he's not a great quarterback anymore. It's just people don't realize that because he throws the ball 50 times a game. And then Trevor Lawrence, he did what he's been doing, and that's just been being bad. Darrell Henderson, I mean, all the makings were there for him to just get all the carries, and he didn't. Michael Carter, same thing there. They just never ran the football against the Patriots. I got Mark Andrews and Tyler Higbee correct on the tight ends. I said Mark Andrews was going to have a poor performance because it was a short week and he was coming back from an injury. And I knocked that one out of the park. That one made me incredibly happy. Side note, if you remember my draft video, when I said the Ravens had one of the better drafts, part of that was because in one of the later rounds, they got tight end Isaiah Likely. I called it. Check it out. Isaiah Likely ended up having like 7 catches for like 90 yards and a touchdown against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then one of my more favored picks, too, is the Bills going against Green Bay. The Bills, the number 1 fantasy defense so far this year. I think maybe them or the Cowboys. But going up against an offense that couldn't get much done, I said, listen, it's not going to work out for them because Green Bay is going to put something together eventually. And they did. And so the Bills had a poor performance, which made me happy. And then my misses on the bust, guys who I said weren't going to do well but did. The Patriots, 3 interceptions, a ton of sacks, forced fumbles, all that stuff. The Bengals, somehow they ended up having a good defensive performance, even though they gave up 32 points. It was weird. George Kittle, 12 points. Dallas Goedert, 12 points, whatever. Now, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Lockett, Jacoby Myers, and Stephon Diggs all ended up having between like 15 and 20 points, which it was just not a great guess. The matchups were there. Nick Chubb, don't want to talk about it. Dameon Pierce had an okay game, and so did Geno Smith. Jalen Hurts ended up just absolutely roasting the Pittsburgh defense, which, I mean, I should have seen it coming, but I was just really hoping that there would be a pass rush. There was not. And then by the numbers, I had a great week on quarterbacks, an okay week on running backs. Nothing else really went well. Another just barely below 500 week. I believe this is my second of the season so far. And then overall, I mean, you can see my position totals. I'm still above 500 for quarterbacks, still above 500 for running backs. I'm right there for wide receivers. I'm doing great on the tight ends, and the defense is very, very close. Overall this season, I've basically got 100 wins and 85 losses. we're doing great. I think I consider all of these coin flips. I go to the guys that are projected to have low performances and I say these guys are going to do well. I go to the guys that are projected to have high performances. I say they're not going to do well. But that's that. You can stick around. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.